How many hearts have you broken with those great big beautiful eyes? Those great big beautiful eyes that tell such beautiful lies.
How many times have you kissed somebody like you kissed me then? I don't.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and all ships at sea. We interrupt this broadcast to bring you an important message from the Prepared Mind Network.
Fake carrots. Fake fruit. Fake. Fake. Fake grapefruits. Fake. Liar! You liar!
Hey everyone, welcome back to the Prepared Mind channel. It is May the 28th, 2024. We are getting heavily into the campaign season, and it has hit the fan. I'm going to do my 30-minute monologue with you guys here on the preparedmind.club and subscribestar.com, where for $2 a month, your premium membership helps keep the lights on and the spam on the shelves. Now, I'm going to make a subtle change to the way the shows are produced. Let's see if you guys can catch what it is I'm up to. Even Ooman doesn't know. So we'll see how it turns out. What you guys think? I think it'll make everybody in the the regular world more pleased with our broadcasts. But the same hard-hitting info is coming. So let's see if you guys catch it and start here with our top story. Top story, there is a manhunt right now underway in Florida. That's right, they're not looking for Florida man, or are they? Well, whoever this person was, they performed donuts and defaced a pride mural in Florida. Right? In other words, somebody got in their automobile, burned out on the pride flag in St. Petersburg, Florida. And my question was, manhunt? What? Like, as if there's not enough Fruity Pebbles in St. Pete? They hunt one another every weekend. So I guess they like the idea of a manhunt. Anyways, what they're saying is the person who burned out, put tire blackness on top of the pride flag, if they catch the person and an investigation is under the way, the perpetrator will face felony charges. Now, Democrat Mayor Ken Welch had some things to say. He said the flag mural will be cleaned and refreshed in time for Pride Month. And then the mayor went on to say, our differences make St. Pete the vibrant and diverse community we cherish. Oh, but you're not allowed to have a difference of opinion. You have to do it their way or the manhunt way. Now, the way I see this is it's not a flag. It's paint on the street. And by the way, any paint other than the yellow and white lines that indicate lane direction, lane division, and driving instructions, any paint on the street other than that is not, and I repeat, not in compliance with traffic safety laws. And it's not a flag. A flag is made out of material, and it is on a pole. So as far as I'm concerned, the paint is illegal. And by the way, roasting tires on paint may be a traffic infraction, or roasting tires, doing donuts on asphalt is a traffic infraction, but it is not a felony, and it's not a hate crime. It's paint. So what I have to say to the St. Pete Pansies, I think that's the name of their baseball team there, they need to grow up. Literally. Grow up. You put paint on the ground, that doesn't mean everyone has to like it. That's not diversity. And if someone, like, okay, asphalt, sticky. Paint, slippery. Have you ever slipped on a floor, right? A painted floor, like in a supermarket where people slip and fall? It's because there's paint on the concrete. Paint is slippery. All right, enough of the manhunt in the you should be afraid. You should totally be afraid. Okay, we got some more important things to go over. Get your questions down below, if you will. We've got a lot of stuff to go over today, but get your questions down below. Your questions make this show better, and I need your input. Now, we have some really important items here, and I think you're going to like this. The Trump flag was being flown at a New York post office on Memorial Day. That's right, folks. They had the American flag, the POW flag, and then the Trump flag. Well, by the way, this is now under federal investigation. That's right. If you think it is hit the fan, it's hit the fan. Because we cannot have a Trump flag flying over federal property. Right? For doing that, whoever gets caught for doing that crime, they're going to be arrested and jailed for terrorism, don't you know? But don't worry, Button, you know, the guy in the White House, Joe Button, he hangs fruity rainbow flags all over the White House, all over federal property. No problem. Fly a Trump flag? There's a problem. Right? Are we starting to catch on? Are we starting to see it? People are getting sick and tired of the left. Whether it's burning out on the Fruity Pebbles paint job or flying a Trump flag in a public place, it's happening, folks. It is happening. It's happening. People have had enough. And I've got more on the lawyer here thing. Now, I want to tell you why this is so important. People in America have had it. They have literally had it with the political left, the legal left, the military left. Oh, yeah. All the military left calling for war, 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 war. Kind of like a W here. It's a big W. We're tired of it. The educational left, the entertainment left, the news media left. Have I missed anyone? The climate left. So people are speaking up and acting out, burning out on pavement, right? Flying a flag. How about this one? Robert De Niro, fabled Hollywood actor, is in New York City trying to promote Biden and trying to poop all over Trump. He's like, I poop on you, right? Well, Robert De Niro, folks, had a disastrous appearance at a Let's Go Brandon campaign event in New York City. And he ended up, while surrounded by his bodyguards, ended up getting into a shouting match with all the Trump supporters there who were trolling him and saying some funny crap, right? Very funny stuff. Robert De Niro screamed, F you! With his, you know, he puts his face, Robert De Niro. Sorry, buddy, you're done. Know what? People were there to insult and go after and call out Biden. And De Niro shows up. He thinks he's going to get some slack. I mean, Robert De Niro probably suffers from Trump derangement syndrome as much as anybody in D.C., including Hillary, Joe, Nancy, name them, Chuck Schumer, all of them. But what does it say? Now, remember, take into account the flag thing. Someone, and it wasn't the post office, somebody attached that flag to the to the flagpole on the Federal Postal Service property. Ooh, somebody burned out on a pride flag. And now Americans shouting down Robert De Niro, Joe Biden, and all the idiots. What does it say when the people of this country collectively, in groups and individually, engage against the public attack against us, our country? Right? Americans are waking up and they're standing up and they're now shouting back and taking action. And they're not just taking, I mean, they'll come out and they're shouting down, right? People are flipping the bird to Biden as he drives past them in his motorcade. Children, sadly, are using very poor language to describe the president of the United States with their insults. Right? And so when the powerful are receiving insults from the public, and I'm not talking about wacko college leftist communist types, I'm talking about real Americans saying we've had enough. We've had enough. What that says is there are some big changes coming. It doesn't matter if the person pushing socialism is De Niro. It doesn't matter if it's some fruit salad tossing butt pirate. It doesn't matter if it's a celebrity or a news team. People have had enough. Now, there's a difference, though. There's an absolute difference between America and the rest of the world. We have the freedom of speech to say what we will, correct? Absolutely correct. Absolutely correct. But it's just going to get better and it's just going to get worse. The better part meaning we're going to fight back and speak out. The worst part is it's going to become more and more labeled as a crime. It'll become more and more labeled as a crime. And, oh, by the way, Joe Biden still is not on the Ohio ballot. The Democrat Party still cannot manage to do their job and get him on the ballot. How is that possible coming from a cadre of professional community organizers? Now, sorry for that aside. It just reminded me that, yeah, he's going to miss a state altogether. Now, with respect to the rest of the world, free speech and having had enough of political leftists trying to destroy them, in Germany, there is a song with nationalist lyrics. Now, it is not the Nazis. Those are the people who are in charge of the German government and the European government who support the Nazis in Ukraine fighting against the Russians. This nationalist German song is entitled Foreigners Out. Ausländer raus, if I pronounce that correctly. Mr. Uman, can I bring you up on the screen? Excellent. Oliver is more German than I am.
Howdy, folks. Hope you all had a good weekend.
Oh, I had a very hot, sweaty, tiring weekend, Mr. Uman. And you did? How did you do?
Yeah, we had a few sprinkles roll through, but the weather was pretty decent. We had a good amount of sun, and I got sunburned.
Yeah, yeah. I hear and hope you slept well.
Oh, God, I slept well.
You slept? You took a few comas, maybe?
Didn't feel so great the next morning, but I slept well.
Oh, right. Sounds like
you tried killing me.
So, foreigners out, translated back into German, is Ausländer raus.
Ausländer raus, yeah.
Auslander raus. I have to roll my R's
Rouse.
a little better.
You got to roll that R.
Roll the R. Roll out that beautiful bean footage. Okay. So you may as well finish out this story with me.
All right.
So the police want to crack down on racism, but this song is extremely popular with German youths. It is. So it's interesting to me that the government and the police call this song racism.
Okay.
When they're just saying foreigners out, they aren't naming a race.
Right.
Which, you know, to me, right, it's not racism. It's national culture. It's the national, cultural, legal, and traditional identity of the German people. They don't want foreigners there. That's not racist, in my opinion. Am I wrong?
No, absolutely not. I mean, it's taken over the entire culture, and the foreigners that are there are causing all kinds of problems, and they're not assimilating like you're supposed to do when you immigrate to another country. So,
Right.
you know, wanting to keep your culture, there's nothing racist or wrong about that.
But they're calling it that, and they want to enforce it that way. They do not have a First Amendment.
No.
Freedom of speech is a privilege of speech in Europe.
Yes.
They don't have the roots we have, where people were, well, hung up by a yardarm by the British redcoats for speaking their mind.
I think I figured out what the new thing on the show is.
What's that?
We both have to wear old guy rule shirts every day. Is that it?
That is incorrect. Incorrect, but that was a valiant effort on your part. Anyways, I'll let you go, man. You go take some more Tylenol.
Yeah, right.
And welcome home. Welcome back. Oh, man. If you guys ever get a chance to meet him in person, do it. All right. Anyways, now with respect to the police not liking the fact that there's a very popular song, Foreigners Out, it almost seemed to me kind of like Richmond, north of Richmond, became a sensation because the people know what's going on, right? But it's amazing that socialists are the one, and I will even add the word evil. Evil socialists, they get to decide what identities can speak freely, right? So the German identity is to have no voice. The French identity is to have no voice. But foreign identities, they can raise whatever voice they want, including the rainbow identity. Anyways, we can thank the Nazis in charge of Europe and the Nazis in charge of, well, Canada and the United States of America for trying to silence us. So my charge to you is start speaking your mind. Start speaking your mind, or we're going to end up in a worse situation. For example, and you could call this take two on more censorship, silencing, control. This is like the Stasi update for the United States of America. Trump's campaign finance director says that wealthy donors, people who would contribute to Trump's political cause, his wealthy donors are hesitant to give money to Trump's political campaign because, quote, the FBI will show up at my door. Yes, folks, we're now seeing the chilling, and I mean chilling, bone-chilling, politically chilling, free speech killing effect that weaponizing the rule of law has done by FJB. Let's go, Brandon. His attorney general, his Department of Justice, his FBI have weaponized free speech. Who's gone to jail? Peter Navarro. Who's gone to jail? Who's been arrested? His lawyers, his, well, friends, his director of national intelligence, Michael Flynn. Anyone who has supported Trump, Roger Stone, gets to go to jail, gets to be arrested, gets to be raided by the FBI. So, of course, mega donors are going to go, yeah, I don't know. You see how evil this is and insidious? It's evil. It's insidious. They want us silenced. Even the wealthy are being silenced. Now, in Germany, they want their country back. In America, we want our country back. In Canada, they want maple syrup back. Had to throw in a syrup joke. Anyways, now on their other side, Islamic leaders in the United States of America have declared there will be Muslim domination of our political system. They vow to rule America from Congress to the White House. I love how they always have a from here to there, from the river to the sea, from Congress to the White House. Literally, folks, the idea that the United States of America and any states in it can become a Muslim-dominated political body will happen over my dead body. Because if they were to come to Florida and take over Florida, guess what? They would murder me. Because I will refuse to obey any of their, well, laws, rules, statutes, edicts, sharia caca. So try me, jihadis. Try it. I think the intolerance of the moral majority is on its way. The intolerance of the moral majority, it's on its way. The moral majority put Reagan in office. It's waking up. I'm back. Did I disappear for a second, Uman? But I'm back. All good? Bueno. Excellent. Literally over my dead body, folks. Either I exercise all of my rights. The question I have for you out there in America, up in Canada, over in Europe, and across the ocean in Japan, are you going to speak your mind? Are you going to exercise your rights? Or are you going to abandon them? It's not a bad question to ask. It truly isn't. I want to one more thing before I continue. I call myself a libertarian. The Libertarian Party as a political party, not libertarians in practice, but libertarians as a political party are two different things. The same way I could say, well, I'm a registered Republican, but I'm nothing like the Republicans in DC who are sellouts. Got that? Good. We got that. Because the libertarians have nominated for their presidential candidate a complete Fruity Pebble fruit salad ding dong. Because the Libertarian political party always goes so far overboard, no one can ever vote for them. And in that sense, I'm actually glad. I'm actually pleased that they're that where these political extremists in libertarianism fail is they don't realize that you cannot build a structure on quicksand. In order to build a structure, be it a house, a building, a skyscraper, it has to be built into a foundation. And the foundation has to be steady. The foundation has to be strong. What am I talking about? A moral basis and foundation. If your moral basis and foundation, libertarians, is, well, you can be a drag queen and read stories to children and wag your genitals in their face. And you can be a cross-dressing ding-dong all you want. And there's nothing wrong with child pornography because you're not hurting anyone, right? No, there's no moral foundation. There's a lack of moral foundation. That's why the libertarians will not take off as a political party. Whereas the libertarians in Argentina have a moral foundation. And they express it extremely well, especially through Javier Milei and I can never say his name right, so I'm going to always mispronounce it as Javier Malou. And if I ever meet him, I'll allow him to mispronounce my last name as well. Now, folks, in court, Trump's lawyer smashed his former attorney, Michael Cohen, in his, well, some would call it explosive closing remarks. And he called him, get this, the gloat, which is the greatest liar of all time, which is why I played as our our clip here where the guy calls him a liar.
Fake carrots. Fake fruit. Fake. Fake. Fake grapefruits. Fake. Liar! You liar!
With the greatest liar of all time. I say Trump's attorney has gone too far here. I think Biden is the most bold and in-your-face, unrepentant liar of all time. The greatest liar of all time, the gloat. Obama is the craftiest, least moral liar of all time. Hillary is the nastiest, filthiest liar of all time. And Pelosi is the meanest and ugliest liar of all time. And Schumer is just the slimiest liar. I think we need a blue ribbon panel of judges. I think we should nominate Liz Piggy Cheney to sit on the gloat board and committee. Hey, Liz Cheney, Liz Piggy girl, you want to head that committee, or are you just basically a lapdog for the greatest liars of all time? This is incredible, folks. Incredible stuff going on. California. Well, there's a Catholic school in California. It's a middle school, which means 6th, 7th, 8th grade. Not quite high school, but not little, little guys. A middle school. Anyways, this Catholic middle school in California has barred a student's speech because it's a patriotic speech and it's a make America great type speech. So they said, no, you can't. Can't do it, kid. Sorry, kid, can't do it. Well, I found this rather interesting. I guess some churches like to silence those who pay massive tuition fees. Remember, it's a Catholic private middle school. You pay massive tuition fees. Then the kids that get up and give their speech, well, they have to excel scholastically, right? But don't you dare repeat, right, anything that's positive about America. They want their kids to repeat woke baloney to the faculty and to the rainbow clergy. And I'm going to start calling them that. Any church that has a rainbow flag in front of it, they like Sodom and Gomorrah. They think it's cute. But I find it rather disgusting. And folks, like I said, I'll call out any church. I'll call out any politician if they want to go in this direction. You want to stop a kid from giving a speech because his politics and his hard work, they can't be allowed. Sounds a lot like the federal government, does it not? Does it not? Just crazy. It's a crazy world, folks. Crazy. Kind of like the judge who is trying to lock up Trump. One of them, anyways, Judge Merchan. I think his daughter has made like 30 or 40 or $50 million in fundraising by smearing Trump. Anyways, the judge today screamed at Trump's lawyer because he made a quip about, well, I think Alvin Bragg, the New York City district attorney, he made a remark about Alvin Bragg's prosecutors wanting to send Trump to prison. So, in this case, Trump's lawyer is stating the politically obvious. And that is not allowed in a courtroom, folks. No, no, no. We can only allow porn stars to lie. We can only allow convicted perjurers to allow to come back to court to lie again. His evidence, his testimony should be wiped clean, should not even be allowed because he is a convicted in-court perjurer. On top of that, Michael Cohen is an attorney, a lawyer. He went to school. He knows what lying does, how bad it affects the jurisprudence of the system. This is what's going on, folks. We cannot have facts allowed. Unbelievable. I've got one more, but we're past the 30-minute mark. So I am going to let you guys take over the show. We're going to go and do the last 30 minutes where you have questions, comments, thoughts in the inner circle. Just whistling past the graveyard. All right, Mr. Ooman, I got your message. 6 it is. Let's do some questions, comments, thoughts. Name redacted. He's speaking of Hollywood pedo performers. At the very least, pedo sympathetic performers and rapist sympathetic performers, like all those who just love Harvey Weinstein and those like him. All right, so Name Redacted said, these actors seem to think they're important because they paid to play. They are paid to play make-believe. Hey, children play make-believe every day, says Name Redacted. Now, here's the thing. Oops, wait. Well, let's go back before we get to his rules. Thank you, Mr. Ooman. I want to comment on this. Actors are told how to act, when to be sad, when to be happy. Right now, the piece of paper may say, be sad, be mad. But the director's like, oh, too mad, calm it down, or not mad enough, or be happier, be ridiculously, right? They're told what to do. They're great at being told how to behave. Most actors do not use their brains. That's not what they're paid for. They're paid to act. And what is acting? Is acting, well, it's a form of entertainment, right? So here, I act a certain way. Normally, I use a lot of very bad language. Normally, I scream and yell at the fruitcakes, right? This is part of the act, but the entertainment requires acting to a degree, but I'm talking to you about facts. The left, the actors, they are pretending to be normal humans, and I don't think they know how, because they don't make a coherent argument. They just scream and yell. So when they scream and yell and they're not making a coherent argument, all I'm seeing is somebody acting. Kind of like we see the LGBTQIA plus butt pirates. They identify as this and they identify as that. Well, that's very much like pretending. They're acting. But they aren't acting in the same way I would or you would, right? We act normal. We use facts, etc. These ding-dongs, they're pretending to be dogs and cats. They're pretending to be women when they're men and men when they're women. And they're pretending to be neither at all. I feel sorry for anybody engaged in dating online. Because you're going to get someone pretending to be a woman. It's unbelievable. Children pretend. And then at some point, a responsible parent says, okay, little Johnny, you're not really a cowboy or an astronaut or a policeman. You're a 4-year-old child. So go wash your hands and come to dinner. Anyways, yeah, children pretend, but they know, even kids know better. They know. I'm like, oh, man, when I was a 4-year-old kid, okay, I'm not an astronaut. I'll take the milk jug off my head, which is covered in aluminum foil, of course, and I'll go wash up for dinner. Okay. All right, Mr. Uman, shall we go to the next statement by Mr. Name Redacted? And here we go. He says, rule numero uno. And for those who don't speak Spanglish, or is that Splatin? Rule number 1, never let your adversary set the limits of the argument. Never let your adversary set any limit or set the rules for you. You see, the left, our enemy, our political adversary, our moral adversary, our national adversary, our cultural adversary, our traditions or traditional adversary. You notice that everything they do is adversarial. They are our military adversaries, meaning they're destroying the military, the legal system, the college system. Okay? They tell us what we can and can't say, and then they say whatever the heck they want. They don't care. They don't care. Has Trump told anybody to F off? Have I missed that? Does he tell Democrats when he sees them to F off, Mr. Uman? I haven't seen it. Now, I know other politicians have started using the F-bomb, but I haven't seen Trump. But we're going to see it from the left as they get out of control. Out of control. Never let the adversary set the limits of the argument. I'll tell you what, they don't want us talking about them, but look what they're shoving in our faces. And I want to give you one unbelievable, disgusting, filthy example. And again, I'll bring in the foundation of the system is based on rules and order and morality. Okay? I am not calling for everyone to become priests or saints, if you will. Nobody's that perfect. Nobody. But we can all agree that you shouldn't steal, you shouldn't hurt children, you shouldn't lie, you shouldn't murder people. You should stand up and be good to your word, right? So, this attack against us, our traditions, our culture, the adversaries. RuPaul, his show called Drag Race, it features drag queen fruitcakes competing to see who can be the most shocking, filthy, disgusting pigs. Well, they had a woman there who chopped off her boobs and then carried either the real thing or a bloody facsimile of surgically removed breasts. And she carried them out on the runway on RuPaul's Drag Race and was promoting mastectomies, the removal of one's breasts, for young female viewers. They are that filthy, folks, that they would go on TV and promote more of their sick, perverted stuff. Once again, they're building a foundation for a belief system that's on quicksand. Crazy stuff, folks. Anyways, while we're talking about this moral foundation, and I also put the Libertarian Party into the category of not having one so they can never be a true political party. The Democrats are destroying their political party, but they have the voting system, they think, locked up within a margin of error, right? But the Libertarian Party, at least the chairwoman for the party, is facing huge backlash for nominating a radical Marxist fruitcake. What, folks? It is a clown show out there, absolute clown show. And RuPaul should be ashamed of himself. And it would be nice if RuPaul and other fruitcakes would just go away. I asked this question of a friend over the weekend. I said, what percentage of homosexuals out there enjoyed being in the closet, not telling anyone, just living their life the way they wanted to and not putting in people's faces and demanding recognition and asking for special favors? They just realized that, well, they're butt pirates and they're okay with it. And they're just going to keep it to themselves. And they don't need to share it with friends and family. What percentage do you think that was? How many of them are upset that now that it's out there, it's just in their faces too? How much you want to bet they don't want to fucking hear about it? Ah, man, I said the F word. All right, Mr. Uman. Okay, let's move on. Who else has got something to say? Badass Diving Frog is the viewer, and his question, comment, statement is, hey, John, the Japanese have stated the blood supply worldwide is contaminated from the Jim Jones juice. Glad I never got them. Japan, Japan, Japan. I am wondering about Japan. Japan is having to sell their U.S. treasuries. Well, let's see. Russia had theirs frozen, and now they want to confiscate them if they haven't done it already. China is selling U.S. treasuries and buying gold and silver with it. Japan is financially being devastated, hurt, crushed. And so Japan is selling their U.S. treasuries, their bonds. The thing that finances the U.S. government, Japan is selling it because their money is in, well, their monetary system, their economy, their own country is being hurt. So they're having to sell U.S. bonds. They don't have any money to invest in the quicksand foundation of the Democrat socialist control system. Now, Japan is also coming out, and government, folks, government officials and TV media personality, the news, the op-ed opinion editorial people, they're starting to talk about the Jim Jones juice openly, taking it off the market, talking about how many people have had their systems damaged, their cardio system, their pulmonary system. They're talking openly about all of the clots, all of the neurological disorders that are associated with it, all of the problems it's caused. Japan is completely rejecting mRNA. mRNA. And if the United States government and if the European Union government wants to pressure Japan, it's already having to get rid of its U.S. bonds. It's not dumping them all at once, but selling them as they need to. Japan might leave the West and align monetarily and economically with Russia and China. Why wouldn't they? And the BRICS Union, which also involves Brazil, South Africa, and many, many, many other countries. India. It's getting crazy out there. Japan knows. And trust me, folks, the leaders of every country, they know what's going on. And those that got the real Jim Jones juice, they're scared to death. Those that didn't, they know that they are medical liars. Not the greatest liars of all time, but they are some of the most indecent, evil people for telling you and your family and your kids and your parents and your friends and everybody in our country demanding we take that garbage. Demanding it. Well, thank God I did not take it either, Mr. Diving Frog, because it's not good for people. Not a bit. And so Mr. Frog says that would make a pint of pure blood worth its weight in gold. Pure blood, the other currency, and it very well may be the other currency. You know, if I went to the hospital and I had a medical problem and it required a blood transfusion, I would probably benefit by calling other O positive, that's my blood type, O positive, patriots to donate. I think I could probably in this area put a call out and get enough blood for a transfusion that is not laced with and full of nasty filth. It's unbelievable what they're pulling out of people's bodies. I mean, where do we go with this? Where do we go? There's so many stories. So many stories. I really do have a ton of stuff we've never gotten to. Ton of stuff. Let's see. I mean, there was an athlete that had to quit professional sports again. Another one. Let's see if this was it. Yes. Billy Price had to retire. He had to retire at age 29 from the NFL. And you know why? Why did a 29-year-old super athlete from the NFL, why is he forced to retire? Because he had a, quote, terrifying blood clot. In April, he had an emergency pulmonary embolism surgery. What is a pulmonary embolism? Well, it has to do with a failure of the blood system in the lungs. And they removed what was called a saddle clot that was entering both of his lungs. Saddle. What does a saddle do? A saddle like goes around a horse, right? Sounds like he had the blood going into the lungs and there's clots like a saddle. Saddle clot entering both of his lungs. He was, folks, a healthy 29-year-old athlete. No more, not retire. My guess, Jim Jones juice. Because he's not 89, not 69 years old, not even 49 or 39. He's 29 years old. Since when does a 29-year-old super athlete have enough gunk in his body to clog? Now, okay, once again, pulmonary embolism. There's an incredible amount of blood, folks, that flows through the heart. Every drop that flows through the heart flows through our lungs to get oxygen in it, to exhale carbon monoxide and carbon dioxide, that evil stuff. Get it out and suck in oxygen. Oxygenate the blood and send it to the muscles. And the better your cardiopulmonary system operates, the more athletic you can be. You can run farther, faster, longer, right? Football superhero. How the heck is he supposed to be a football super athlete with giant blood clots, snotty, blood-blocking clots in his lungs? He can't. That's why he had to retire. And I want to thank Darcy T for getting me that story. Anyways, if you need real blood, that's kind of like gold. It truly is. All right. Mr. Uman, where do we want to roll next? 1 second there. I'm going to get right to that. I kind of like that. Heidi checks in and says, 3 words, conquest by multiplication. That is what the foreign nationals who refuse to become Americans have in mind. Whether we're talking about Latin Americans who don't want to be Americans, they just want to steal all they can. They want all the free welfare they can, and they keep their Latin American mentality as the thieves. Now, the ones that come here to work hard, pay taxes, obey the laws, and respect our customs, traditions, and cultures in America, got no problem with them. But conquest by multiplication, Heidi, you are absolutely correct. The illegals and those who've been brought here by Biden, they don't want to assimilate, follow the rules, or respect anything. Their goal, their mission is to outnumber us by multiplication. They think they're going to get enough people to vote their way, that they can have their way and introduce Sharia law. Now, what's interesting is in North Carolina, they passed a law making the use and application of Sharia law a crime. And it should be, because I believe those who are radical jihadis, they don't have a moral foundation on which they live. Now, if you came up to me and said, John, I'd like to talk to you about Islam, and here's all the great things it does for you, spiritually, personally, you become a better person, you'll help others, it'll be a great thing. Instead, it's not that, right? Right now, Mormons will do that. They'll be like, hey, I'd like to talk to you about the Book of Mormon. I'll be like, let's talk, buddy. And by the way, get ready to turn the other way and just start walking, because you're not going to like what I have to say. Same with, the Jehovah's Witnesses. Same with any cult, right? I have my belief systems. If you want to share, that's cool. But a radical, violent, dangerous person, whether FBI or a jihadi, says you're going to believe what I say you believe, or I'm going to cut your head off or throw you in prison the rest of your life until you die. That's not really a religion now, is it? It's not really a religion. They are multiplying through two ways. Well, intercourse, which I can't imagine is a beautiful thing. And then also, I'm also sorry, man. Also by conversion. You will convert at the end of a sword or die by that same sword. That's not the religion of peace in my book. But peace, by all definitions, is accomplished with the absence of an enemy. In other words, in war, when you destroy the enemy, peace can now flourish. Right? So that's what the jihadis believe, that they'll attain peace once they kill everyone that they don't like. Wow, that sounds great. Actually, it doesn't. So someone, I'm kind of like Trump, he's like, yeah, that Hannibal Lecter, what a guy, what a nice guy. No, that's facetious. Yeah, when I say that the jihadis are great, I don't. I'm being facetious. Anyways, let us continue, Mr. Uman. We've got name redacted here. He says, I think it was 5.5 children 10 years ago when ours was 1.5. What he's talking about is the number of children per couple. And I'm not even going to say married couple. Yes, we white people, we conservative type people, we tax-paying people have a hard time paying for children. They're expensive. They cost a lot of money just to birth, then to raise, right? To feed them, house them, clothe them, send them to school. And then they grow up and decide they don't like you. Right? You're like, why'd I spend all that money making a little disrespectful turd? Anyways, they grow out of that, folks, which is nice. Now, I had 2 children. So me and my former spouse, we replaced ourselves, but we did not increase the population. The average is 1.5, meaning half of couples have 1, the other half have 2. But yeah, the radical jihad takeover people, they're having an average of 5.5 children. So if you look at the numbers and the amount of time, they're probably 3 to 5 generations away from taking over the country population-wise. I do not believe we're going to last that long. Just my belief. I believe that war will start and take its toll a lot more. Now, Uman says, I just saw a report that the live birth rate per woman on a global peak is down from 4.6 in the 1970s to just over 2.2 in 2021. Those are subpopulation replacement rates. So the question is that everybody, including Christians, Buddhists, Catholics, Jews, Muslims, Sikh, everybody? All right, he's giving me the head shake. Yes, that's interesting. It really is interesting. So 4.6. That's the average. Well, it was in the 70s. Interesting stuff, folks. All right, let us continue. Where are we at here? We got 55 minutes, 56 minutes in. Mr. Uman, where do we want to roll next, or am I gonna close it down? I'm gonna let you make the call. Okay, Dennis Quaid, Hollywood, well, superstar. He was in some great movies like Inner Space. I love that movie, Inner Space. He was in a movie called The Day After Tomorrow, when the planet froze over, I think. Anyways, he's brother to Randy Quaid, Uncle Eddie from the Vacation movies. Anyways, Hollywood star Dennis Quaid gave his reason, and I think he gave it to Piers Morgan. I'm not the hugest Piers Morgan fan, but Piers Morgan, he let him talk. And the reason he gave for voting for Trump as a Hollywood star was the weaponization of the justice system. In other words, he's looking at it going, that's just wrong to do. And as a consequence, I'm not going to vote for the people who have weaponized the legal system, the justice system, the legal system, the justice system, right? We got 3 legs in this country: judicial, executive, and legislative legs of the government. 3 legs. And they've now weaponized the judicial system. And they're trying to weaponize it even at the Supreme Court level. So it's interesting to see, folks. I don't know Dennis Quaid from Adam, other than a few movies he's been in. It's just strange to me that people are waking up across the board. Across the board. I'm glad they are. I truly am glad they are. Right? Good golly. We got a lot of crazy stuff going on, folks, out here. Where do I want to go? I've got so much stuff. I almost get confused about making decisions. I don't want to talk about that. The other reason I think people are leaving the Democrat Party, and it is probably just because of the outright lies. Now, I said, Joe Biden is the most in-your-face, unapologetic liar ever. Joe Biden told West Point graduates he was appointed to the Naval Academy where he wanted to play football. Why would Joe Biden share that lie with West Point, which is Army? Oh, by the way, no one cheered. And I am surprised that Biden, when no one cheered at his comments, I'm surprised he didn't call these military graduates dumb bastards. I think he called the Annapolis, when he spoke to the Annapolis military student body several years ago. I think he called them dumb bastards for refusing to laugh and applaud at Joe Biden's statements. It's quite interesting. And there's a problem with West Point and the military officer corps, is there are more and more leftists out there, and they are politically sifted. They take the conservatives, and, well, They'll get their commission, but they won't get their promotions. Oh, they'll go from second lieutenant to first lieutenant. They'll move up to major, captain, major. But you start getting into some of the more political levels like lieutenant colonel, colonel, and then general or admirals, if you will. It certainly changes things. In any event, folks, it has hit the fan. And folks, we're going to have some serious economic news coming our way in the next couple of weeks. The question just is are they going to paper over the problems? Are they going to hide them and bail them out? Or are they going to let the system crash and then blame Trump for it? This is a question I seriously want you and me to think about. If Biden doesn't have a viable replacement, you know, Gavin Newsom or Michael Obama, if there is no viable candidate to replace Biden, and it looks like Trump is going to win in a landslide, will the Federal Reserve, the U.S. Treasury, and the government throw up its hands, forfeit, let the system crash? Just to get even with you and me and every American who loves America. I don't know, but we're going to find out. And chance favors the prepared mind is yours. Food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine, means of self-defense. I'll see you guys 0 Dark 30 tomorrow.